everyone, it's me again, and I thought I would just do this little short blog. The other day when I was out walking, I stumbled across this stone and it reminded me of Day of the Dead, and what I thought I would do was to paint it. Not quite the same as Day of the Dead, but maybe the Bumblebee Day of the Dead. Now, I washed him all off and let him dry, and now I'm just covering him with gesso, and it's a bit more difficult than you think. Oh, and now I'm doing a second coat of gesso. This is a better quality gesso than the first. I mean, gesso really does vary from product to product. I think this is Reeves that I used. The other one was just called Simple Gesso. So that's what I'm using now, and covering it over, all over, trying to get into all the nooks and crannies. Yeah. And I discovered Day of the Dead when I was teaching. It came up on the curriculum, and I really did find out a lot about it, and I really did enjoy teaching it and seeing all the different variations and the skulls. And if you'd like to look in one of my previous videos, I have got a whole video showing you Cindy Day of the Dead, which explains a little bit more about it. Now, because this is Bumblebee Day of the Dead, Bumble Skull, I am now using black gesso just to create the lines. Anyway, I hope you're all okay and enjoying the nice weather, and if you're in the part of the world where it's becoming winter, I hope the winter's not too bad for you. We've had an interesting winter. It's been chilly, but we didn't get the snow till just recently. It was called the Beast from the East because it came over from Siberia, but again, we didn't have anything like other countries, although it did stop us from going to work. Where I go to work, I go across the plains, not like America, but there are short landscapes up on our hills which are quite barren, and because there's no hedges, we have massive snowdrifts that go across the road. And it was quite exciting driving to work in some of the areas where the embankments were quite high. The snow piled up, and I did feel like a bit like an Olympic toboggan going through them. It was pretty amazing, and I do like the snow. It's quite magical. It's not my favourite type of weather because I'm not very good with the cold, but sun's my go-to weather. I do love the summers. The hotter the better. I come into my own when it's warm. And now I'm just resting him on a little paint pot just so I can paint round. This is just a little short sort of inspirational video, just to say that wherever you are, there's always something you can pick up and do. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to go out and buy supplies. It's wonderful to be in nature and look around and see what there is. It is quite amazing. I watched a documentary on Netflix, I think it was, about being quite arty and right-brained, and how we take in the detail of things, and how we spot things, and our attention to detail when we're looking is phenomenal. We tend to see more things than maybe the scientific brain. Now, don't don't hold that as gospel. That is only what I saw on this program. But I must admit, as I slow down and walk around in nature, it's amazing. Suddenly a colour will jump out on me, or a leaf, or like this stone. I mean, this stone was just lying in the path, doing absolutely nothing, just being a stone. And I picked it up and I thought, my God, that looks like a skull from Day of the Dead. So I popped it in my pocket. And now here he is, taking on a new little life. And this is what you could do if you wanted to. When you go for a walk, pick up something, if it's a twig that you find interesting, or a stone, or a leaf, or a flower. And if you don't want to paint it like I have this little chap, oh, by the way, I am now using my Posca pen because it's a lot more easier to be more direct, than more control than the brush, because the surface of the rock was quite bumpy. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, you can pick up little bits of inspiration, and you could even draw them. Just take them home and draw them, or paint them, or maybe glue them together and make a 3D object, a piece of sculpture. Even if you find man-made objects which have been left out in the wild, like tin, for instance, is amazing. Like metal, when it rusts, you can make brilliant collages from rusty metal. And sometimes I pick up rusty bits and I apply them to my abstract, and I put wax over the top, and it is amazing how interesting these little scraps can be. Now I'm just using, well, I was going to use a pen to do the yellow, but it didn't really go very well on the gesso. So now I've just opened up a really interesting yellow I like, which exploded all over me the day I decided not to wear an apron, would you believe? Anyway, you can see him now. I rather like this kind of yellow, a deeper yellow. I'm not a kind of person to go with the acidy hues. I tend to go with more of the reddy hues. I like the deeper colour. Yeah, I find it interesting, people's colour preference. That's always fascinated me. And and I also love this process, like while I'm doing this voiceover, looking at myself paint and reliving the little character coming to life. I mean, he's sat on my studio now, and that's where he'll be for always. But just watching them come to life. I mean, I wonder if other people get a narrative in their head when they're painting. I'd love to know. And if you'd like to leave a comment in my Puff of Smoke community, or even join my Puff of Smoke community, you'll find it on the end of this video or down in the comments below. I would love you to join. I'd love to see your artwork. It's only quite a young community, but please, if you do find anything, any pebbles or anything that you paint, or anything that you find in nature, do post it on there. Become a member. We really would like to have you. And so he's coming to life a little bit now. He's a little bit more like a bumble skull. I think that's what I'll call him, Mr. Bumble Skull, Day of the Dead. That's quite funny, really. Anyway, this evening, before I finished this off, I went for a walk. I've hurt my back moving stuff around, getting the base for my studio, and I went for a walk because I had it in my head that I wanted him to have a little bit of moss for his hair, because keeping back with the nature element. And there he is, smiling at us. Just making the little holes in his eye sockets a little bit darker, and again neatening up the edges. So, it's quite quiet here while I'm doing this talk over. The dog sat on the settee beside me, and my other dog is at my feet. I love having all the animals around me. They're great company. It's really, really quiet. Oh, and this is the back. This time the paint didn't explode all over me, thank goodness. I was well aware, rather than to be caught on the hop. And it makes a change for me to actually make these projects, as I spend a lot of time painting, and a couple of projects come in my head lately, and I thought, well, why not give it a go? Just because usually I do them and nobody sees them, so I thought, why not post them on YouTube with me making them? You never know, somebody else might get some fun out of this. And the other day somebody said to me, this is me putting the moss on his head, giving him his new hairdo. Somebody the other day asked me why I started my YouTube channel, and I said it was to pay it forward. 2 years ago I was really ill, and the other makers on YouTube kept me company for many a long hour, and I would like to pay it forward to anybody else that's got any kind of illness or recovering, that they might find a little bit of pleasure in my videos to keep them company while they get better, or just enjoy watching and having the company. I did find I find a lot, like Secret Soto, she was great company, still is, and Kelly from Knitting and Things, and our sister Callie Black, who is really, really poorly at the moment. I wish sending her lots of love and hugs. And Rita and Sharon Green, who makes me laugh loads and loads of times. There's too numerous to mention, but yeah, a great community and a growing community. So yeah, that's why I started my YouTube channel, so that I could pay it forward. And I'm just neatening up the edges now. I'm just applying more white. These little projects are so fun. You don't need to take them serious. It's just a way of going in the studio and enjoying yourself and doing something a little bit different. And here he is, finished. Bumble Skull from Day of the Dead. I don't think there's been another one invented, to be sure. But I do hope you do enjoy him, and please thumbs up, comment, best of all subscribe. We'd love to see you on our channel. Bye bye, much love, bye bye.